go again?
Oh, no, not again.
You've seen it before, haven't you?
Dom, how long have we been doing?
Once more unto the breach. Dear friends.
Again and again and again until we're both dead.
Hello, welcome. You've seen it before. Movie reviews, connections in mind. Dungeons & Dragons, Are Among Thieves. It's the second live-action Dungeons & Dragons film to be released, the first one being from 2000. And this stars Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Renee Jean Page, Justin Smith, Hugh Grant, and so many others. It's directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly. And this is basically a live-action Dungeons & Dragons campaign where a group of adventurers of varying skill sets must recruit other members along the way and quest for various magical artifacts in order to effect a heist of a well-guarded castle, while also preventing an evil threat from wreaking havoc on this kingdom. Now, this review will contain spoilers of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, as well as certain other things. I'll be doing my spoiler-free thoughts first and foremost, but just so you know, there will be some spoilers later on in this review. But first and foremost, let's talk about some spoiler-free talk on Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. This is a good movie. Is it worth seeing in a theater with friends? I would say absolutely. Full disclosure, I know next to nothing about Dungeons & Dragons. I've never played a campaign before. I know just enough to get the gist of what's going on with this. I don't know any various in-jokes or references that are made throughout the movie. But frankly, you don't need to know that much because this is if you know anything other than this is a adventure romp, and it totally is, and it's a very well-made adventure romp because first and foremost, it's a character piece, and the characters are set up. While not everyone gets a full-blown backstory, they get just enough to set great stakes. There are great emotional stakes that, while not always world-ending, there's definitely set up enough to affect people emotionally and get that connection going. And they are relatable stakes, and that is set up very well. And also, this is a very self-aware, funny picture as well, and it balances these tones between serious emotional stakes and self-aware humor quite well throughout most of the movie. I feel like what I feel like this movie kind of lets audiences down a little bit is there are kind of two main threats in this movie. One is, like I said, there's emotional stakes. Specifically, Chris Pine's character Edgin has a daughter who is trapped in this castle, and they're trying to free her. That's one. That's the emotional stakes. Great. If that was one, that's all we need. But we also have a supernatural threat going on, where basically a cult of wizards and witches are trying to create an undead army out of this kingdom's people, and our heroes have to try to stop them. That's not bad, but it is definitely more generic. And that one I wasn't as engaged with, frankly, and they cut back to it a little too much for my taste. It does tie in with a character's backstory in a reasonably decent way. However, this character also doesn't really show up very much for very much of the movie. He's kind of there in the middle, and then he's gone, and he shows up at the very end, but that's about it. So those are my main nitpicks with it. Frankly, this movie has a lot of great moments and, like I said, relatable stakes, characters that you are genuinely engaged with, even though, like I said, you don't need to give us a lot, but you need to give us enough. And I feel like this movie gives us enough. Frankly, if there's one character that I feel like gets a little bit underwritten by the end, it's Hugh Grant's character. He plays a smarmy con man, and he is great in the beginning, and he kind of disappears throughout the most of the movie, and then he kind of shows up at the end. But by then, I feel like the Hugh Grant-isms of his performance were creeping a little too much, and frankly was getting a little annoying in my mind. But other than that, I had a great time with this movie. I think you will too. My favorite scenes in particular were one involving interrogating a bunch of reanimated corpses, and also there's one scene with a malfunctioning hologram. So if you haven't seen the movie and you're intrigued by those, then I think you'll enjoy seeing it. And if you have seen it, then you'll know what I mean. So if I was going to give Does the Dragons Honor Among Thieves a letter grade, I would say this is a solid A. I hesitate to give it an A+, because like I said, there are a couple of those things that do drag it down just slightly for me. I can't call it that quality in my mind, but I had a great time with this, and I think you will too. So those are the main points, spoiler-free thoughts that I had on Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Now let's get some spoiler talk as certain plot development and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen it before. Now, this movie has a lot of tropes and a lot of references, but I feel like what separates these tropes from what a lot of movies do is why I call it "You've Seen It Before." It's not that you've seen these before; it's that the writers took these tropes and did something unique with them, and used and combined them in such a way that they're distinct from all these other things that you've seen, for the most part. So, like I said, the scene where they have to resurrect a whole bunch of corpses to ask where the helmet is, that reminded me so much of Hellboy, the first Hellboy, where he has to resurrect that corpse to get directions through the labyrinth. But I love that extra twist that they give, where it's like, all right, you only get 5 questions, and then he's dead forever. And then it's like, the first one he wastes the 5 questions, and then he's dead. It's like, all right, let's dig up another one. And then it's like, oh wait, we got the answer. It's like, wait, I got 3 more questions. It's like, what's your favorite book? Do you like cats? It's like, that's what made that was a great scene. That was a great twist to put on that trope. We also have, when they're going into the underworld, you got the hither stick, got the portal. A lot of movies use portals like that. Even the game Portal has the portals like that. You made me think of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6, where you got the spray paint portal thing they got going on there. They use that in various ways. That was just my thought of that. Also in the underworld, you've got, the fire swords. Again, you see that a lot. How to Train Your Dragon, Star Wars. There's that going on there. I don't know if it's just me, or I could be wrong, but I thought that the castle sets, specifically the hallway, like that L-shaped hallway where Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez are waiting, and also like that main entranceway, like the columns. Those look very much like sets from Hogwarts for Harry Potter, specifically Sorcerer's Stone, especially the room where the Mirror of Erised is first found. I could be wrong. There could be different sets. They just could take an inspiration from that, but that was very distracting for me, frankly. And finally, the finale where the witch, what's her name, Serena, gets owned by Doric as the owl bear. Yes, that looked very much like Hulk smashing Loki in the Avengers, and that one didn't do too much different with that, but like I said, for the most part, these tropes were very unique with what they were able to do with them, and it's that kind of chemistry that puts this movie above those other movies where they just place a trope and call it a day. They don't change much with it. So those are my main points. Comparison between Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, and what came before. What did you think of the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was my analysis? Do you agree? Disagree? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the ever audience I could get. Be sure to look for my next movie review, which will be for the Super Mario Brothers movie, which comes out April 5th, I believe. And also look for a special video that ties in with my trying to see this movie in theaters coming out here shortly. So, again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. If you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Again, thank you so much. Just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.